Welcome to Davita's Stampin' Spot. It's Tuesday, so time for another fun technique. Today I'm going to share a technique with you that I'm kind of mixing two that I learned many years ago. So to start out, the first item we're going to use are these Celebration Labels dies. These are new in the August to December catalog. If you live local, you'll be getting yours this week. I'm going to start driving around handing them out. If you are long distance, I had Stampin' Up! Mail them to you, so hopefully you'll get them real soon. I'm going to be using these three smaller dies on here. I'm also using the silhouette scenes, this man and woman under the umbrella, and then I needed some raindrops, so I'm using the under the umbrella stamp set. So the first thing I did was I used the smallest, or second smallest die, and cut this out with my die cutting machine. Okay. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my couple and I'm going to stamp them in black. And this is a brand new stamp. It's been out for a long time, but I haven't used it, and so I've been having some issues with it, and I forgot to put Versamark on it first. But I'm going to take our blender pen that's black, and I'm just going to fill in these spots. I tell you, I do this so often. Even if you're not a big fan of the blends, I would encourage you to get the black, because it can touch up your stamped images when you just need to touch up just a little bit. I want this to be nice and solid. Alright, so we've got that done, and I'm going to let it set for just a second to make sure that ink dries. So I wanted my card to be a little different this time. So what I did was I used the dies and I created a card that looked like this. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'll kind of explain that to you. So I took a piece of 8.5 by 11, cut it at 4 1/4 by 11, scored it at 5 1/2, so it would make a normal card. And then I took this die and I put it on here, and I pulled it off the edge so that the knob out is not going to cut. So then when I ran it through the die cutting machine, it kept my fold right there and made it so that the card works like that. Alright, so let's go back to this. So now what I'm going to take is our Versamark, which basically works like glue, and I'm going to press it over the entire image. Get it nice and gooped up. Then I've got clear embossing powder here, and I'm going to make sure the whole thing gets covered with powder. Told you it worked like glue, it stuck. Alright, so we'll lay this on top, and then we're going to take the heat tool. I forgot to grab my clipboard, so I'll use our take a pick tool, and we're going to heat up the embossing powder. And we'll move around. Remember, whenever you do embossing, it goes from sticky with the Versamark to sandy to then shiny. Now while it's still warm, I'm going to take it and put it back in the embossing powder again and get it covered with embossing powder. And then heat it up again. And when you heat this up, you're going to see that it gets bumpy. And what I'm going to do is you just keep heating it up until the bumps go away, and it's a real solid image. So heat it up again. Now our embossing powder is real fine, which is usually what we want. So when I did this previously to figure it out, I found that I needed to do it multiple times. So there's 3 times, and I'm going to do it once more. It does get very warm. And as you can tell, it's getting very, very shiny, and the little empty spots are going away so that it's looking very, very shiny and thick. Now it still looks like balmy blue, but it does look darker, as you can see that, okay? And probably before I actually would finish this card, I'd probably do it one more time. Now if you heat it up and you see that you missed a spot, you can go back with your Versamark and add some more Versamark. Usually I have found when playing with this today that it's the edges that I miss, because that's where I'm hanging on. So we do the edges one more time. You do use quite a bit of embossing powder with this. So I'll heat it one more time to get the edges. Alright, there we go. So now it is pretty sturdy because you've added all that weight with the embossing powder. But look how shiny that is. Doesn't that look cool? I will tell you that when I was first playing with this, the video I watched, they suggested doing the clear embossing first and then stamping this image after you've done it, so the image kind of soaks in. The black would soak into the clear, but I had issues with it, and I'm going to show you what happened. So because the embossing was bumpy, it left spots, and so I didn't like that. So then I decided to stamp it first, so I stamped it like that. Alright, so then what I did was I took the next die size, and I want to add just a few raindrops, because if they're under the umbrella, it's probably raining. If you're here in the Kansas City area, you know we've had quite a bit of rain the last couple days, which was much needed and greatly appreciated. So the raindrops are from the Under the Umbrella set. I don't know if you've played with this, but you can fit the raindrops in between each other so you get a real nice even look with your raindrops. And I need them just on the outside because it's just a layer. Alright, so we've got that for our layer. So now this would be laid like that with raindrops around it. I thought about putting some ribbon, but I really didn't want to take away from this look. So I chose to leave it like that. So here's my card. You'll see I added some raindrops with the rhinestones. I colored them with the blue, good grief, the dark balmy blue blends, and colored them so that they have that blue look to them. And then on the inside I did a white one again, stamped the little saying that says life showers bring love's flowers, and of course added some raindrops in there. So that's my card for today. Oh, I did want to mention, the last time I challenged with the shadow technique for people to post, and somebody would win ribbon, and Jane S. won. She was brave enough to show a sample on the thread for the card that she made. So she'll get to pick a ribbon of her choice as a free gift from me. All right, I think that was all I wanted to share with you today, this technique. It's just a lot of fun. It's really shiny. So give it a try. I would love to see your samples. So if you create something using this technique, take a picture, post it on the feed, and let us all enjoy your creation. So thanks a lot. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.